Hello and welcome to Breaking Late. I'm your host Michael, and with me, as always, is JD. How you pull up after this weekend, mate?
Well, mate, after a late night last night watching the Singapore Grand Prix, it was a pretty good weekend.
It was a long weekend of motorsport. It really was. You've had the Sandown 500, which started at, what about 12 o'clock?
Yeah, there was definitely a few hours spent in front of the TV.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't do anything. It was fantastic.
So what was your biggest highlight from the weekend, mate?
You know, the whole Tanda thing, that was amazing. That I think was the highlight.
Yeah, I agree. From the
HRT.
V8s, definitely. That was probably the biggest thing to come out of the main game, especially. HRT back not only having a good race car, but having a car that was competitive in qualifying. So not on the back foot going into a race was impressive to see from that new chassis they built.
It was good. It's a long time between drinks for Garth.
72 or something races
Yeah.
between
He's
wins.
probably forgotten what champagne tastes like.
Yeah, he should have done a shoey.
Yeah,
After that long off the podium.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you? We'll jump into the news.
Yeah, few things happening around the traps. Renault brought engine upgrade. It was a bit of a weird one, actually. They made all these announcements before Singapore that Verstappen was going to be the one receiving all of the upgrades. So everyone was going to receive. Total had brought out a new fuel to give them more power and efficiency.
Yep.
And then there was a new, I think, what was it? Computer and also internal combustion engine. It was really weird. They basically said that Verstappen was on a different amount of engines to everyone else, so this will be, I think, Ricciardo's last engine.
Yep.
Where Verstappen's still got another one after this, and basically they said, Verstappen doesn't need. He can use the engine, and he still doesn't have to limp to the end of the year, where everyone else probably needs to wait one more meeting.
And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
everyone gets the parts.
And they said there wasn't enough for both the Renault drivers and Ricciardo to have them, and then all of a sudden everyone's got the engines. So
Yeah,
that's weird.
That shocked a lot of people. I actually saw that in Ted's notebook, and he
everyone was
stumped.
confused.
He was
yeah.
like, I thought Max was only getting it, but then everyone's got it. So
Yeah, I don't know if they were foxing with maybe Ricciardo wouldn't have been competitive with the Ferraris and the Mercs, but I don't know.
he was very competitive.
Very.
It was good.
He pulled out some good laps.
He did.
Him and Rosberg were definitely my highlights from qualifying in the Formula One. Yeah, they did some great qualifying there.
We have touched on that HRT won Sandown 500.
Yep.
With Garth Tander taking out the win. Good job, Garth. Garth and Warren Luff, they didn't put a foot wrong this weekend.
Yeah, it was an amazing weekend, really. Luff did a great job, and same with Garth. I didn't see them put a foot wrong, and they come away with a win.
What are your thoughts on the front guard just given away?
Yeah, I think that would be a bit of a controversial one, to be honest. There would have been a lot of teams on the blower, especially, I reckon, Red Bull, but up to...
I think it was good that they let him race.
I do too, but...
We both actually messaged each other going, well, Garth just lost this, and in only a way that Garth can.
Yeah,
not
it's...
anything to do with his fault.
It was unbelievable, really. I didn't see it coming, and all of a sudden, bam, this guard's come off. I don't think he had any contact prior to it either. It just must have dislodged something internally, and then it broke away. I think it could have swung either way. Different day, different driver. Stewart, I think, would have pulled him through the pits, regardless of what the team said, how secure it was. I think it would have gone differently, but I was glad they left him out there.
It did. It would have ruined the race.
It would have tarnished the race a little bit, and he deserved it. Like, they just drove perfectly. They did nothing wrong, and they did a great race.
Something HRT didn't do this weekend. Retro.
Yeah, we were discussing this as well. It's a bit odd, wasn't it?
Yeah, like you said something about they spent $1 million on liveries and kits for the crew, personnel, and drivers and stuff.
Yep, through the whole field.
Not every car ended up doing it.
There was only, 8 to 10 cars that did it, I think, out of the whole field.
So what do you got? You got Lee Holsworth that did they didn't do too much. They just put their number in a circle on the side of the car. Scotty Pye in the number 17 car with the shell. Fabian with the blue car
Yep.
that debuted earlier this year.
Yep.
I mean, they went retro with the colours and the number and stuff, and it's a nice touch, but that livery was not retro.
Well, I do like that they went very Penske on one car, 100% Penske on one car, and then 100% DJR on the other. It was nice that they did that. I'm not a big fan of split liveries in teams, but it was a nice gesture.
It was, because they are a split team. Still DJR Team Penske.
But I think they both, well, after half the teams didn't even do it at all, maybe I shouldn't be so critical on them, but
I felt
like they missed the mark on the retro side of it. Both their cars come out looking, they could have been current model cars, like current liveries.
It's something that does show that the Shell Helix livery, that's a 2002 model, holds up well better than that super cheap of the same era.
Yeah, definitely. I actually didn't think about that.
That Shell Helix one, you could put it on a car and race it every day this year, and no one will blink an eyelid.
No, I agree with you 100% there. That was, yeah, indeed. It was looked the part. It looked like it was a current model livery.
You had the DJR cars, then you've had the BOC and the Freightliner Commodore.
Yep, I like them.
They were very... The number 8 BOC car, it was smack bang on Bradley's Oz car. One there was identical.
It was a good looking car, and there were a few others that looked quite good as well. I was a big fan of Dale Wood's car.
Dale's Wood's
yeah,
looks really good.
It was a good looking. It was the best looking Nissan out there.
There was a lot of red retro, and we kind of knew something like the thing with retro cars liveries. Anyways, they're flat colors. They're back in the day where you bought a red car and then you slapped other color stickers on top. Nowadays, we print the sticker.
Vinyl wrap.
Yeah, it's a vinyl livery that you just print off almost in one piece and then just cut the doors out and just...
Yeah, it's very true. It's a very different way of painting and stickering up the cars these days. Before they were vinyl cut stickers for individual names or whatever, and now it's very intricate color schemes and lines and... pictures almost on the side of the goddamn car.
You can get any graphic you want now.
Yeah. So, what was another highlight out of the... What was your favourite one?
Well, we had the Volvos, which I think looked very true to the thing.
They were probably my second favourite, as well.
And the Volvos actually looked really good at the end of the race. Well, one of them did anyway.
Yeah, one of them didn't look so good at the end of the race.
But they looked... The cars with the old livery on it looked really good dirty.
Yeah.
They did. They aged well.
They were like a set of, what do they call it? The jeans with the holes in them and stuff like that.
They're worn. I don't know. I just think that maybe if they really want to do this retro livery next year, get everyone in on it. But I do understand where some sponsors might just be like, well, no, this is my logo. We're paying... sponsors pay top dollar to get on the cars.
Yep.
They go, we don't want crazy colors. We want our thing. We've given you good amounts of money to go, this is what we want your car to look like for 12 months or number of races.
I think if they go back, and I agree with you 100%, I think this year would have been hard to market to some of them. Maybe even Shell, I think they were one of the ones that missed the mark. They should have gone more retro because they have some great liveries from DJR back in the early 90s and 80s and stuff like that for Dick's team. And that they could have gone really retro and probably been the standout car of the field, but they didn't. They played it safe, played it to what Shell still kind of looks like now. Like we said, it could have been the current model Shell car. I think if they look at some of the marketing that probably, say, Caltex got out of this, everyone's talking about the cars. So you go to a normal round, no one really cares about the liveries too much.
No.
They're talking about the driver. This meeting, everyone was talking about the sponsorship deals on the side of the cars. So maybe this is something they can really use to push it next year, to market it to the other teams, and also to help sell the product to the people that, in the end of the day, are paying for the sport.
Yep.
I think that this should be very helpful for next year.
I don't know if you know or would know, but did they announce the retro round halfway through this year? Or was it at the start of the season, like Sandown 500 is going to be the retro round?
It was early this year. I remember it from early. I don't remember exactly when, but
It's just maybe now that the teams, for next year's contract that they sign, put a clause in. You have to do a retro round.
the problem we might have with it, I don't know how many of these teams sign yearly contracts with V8 Supercars. See, they might have signed a contract 3 years ago.
Yeah.
For 5 years. I don't know how it really works. I'm only guessing, but I think it should be maybe they can't penalise them for not turning up, but maybe there's a bonus.
Well, there's a lot of free advertisement.
Yeah, well, there
as
definitely
soon as every
was.
car gets released, they're on every motorsport webpage.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand about some of these teams. I understand why HRT didn't. They were just giving, they were giving Holden the finger, basically saying, you know what, screw. We've got the longest lineage of any team, but we're not going to do it because stuff you. Why are we going to waste money when you're leaving us next year?
This is total speculation. We've got nothing to stand on. Just in case anyone listens to it and just like, wow, these guys actually know. We don't.
Yeah, we don't. No, that's 100% true. Michael is exactly right. That's my view on it. I don't see HRT looking to support Holden very much with this. I was a bit surprised Red Bull didn't really go anything other than uniforms. They didn't even do race suits. They did nothing really. I understand Red Bull, the company, is a new company, but I still think they could have retroed up the car.
I was disappointed in their retro announcement. I was trying to keep on top of all the car releases last week, and I was on all the all the team websites.
Yep, you were smashing it out on Facebook. You did a great job, mate.
Yeah, had to learn how to Facebook. But yeah, I saw something on the Red Bull site late on the Wednesday night, and they're like, Red Bull goes retro, and I'm like, clicked on the article, scrolled down, couldn't see any pictures of cars. I was like, I don't know what they're on about. And then all the crew and then their white jackets, and I was just like, that's why I didn't post that one, because I was like, it's not a picture of a car. They didn't go retro.
Yeah. Look, I loved what they did with the team.
Yes.
The
that
team
did look
was
cool.
amazing, but they missed the mark on the cars. There was no different. That car was just a normal car. Something else to come out of Sandown in the news, basically. They've changed the redressing rules. So you know how we were back at Eastern Creek or Sydney Motorsport Park, as they call it these days?
Yeah.
And then Shane had that incident with Moffat.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Moffat, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was Moffat.
Yeah.
Moffat gave him a tap, spun Shane around. Shane lost a spot. Moff readdressed, pulled out back behind Shane. Shane moved on down the road, and Moffat ended up getting a drive-through penalty and really ruined his whole day.
Yeah.
He went from, I think they were
running fifth. Yeah. It was going to be his best result.
16th or something silly. It was basically took a whole bunch of points off. I think it should have been more like a 5-second penalty, if that. They've changed the rule now that basically if you bump someone, there'll be 3 gradings. So if you fence them and their race, that's category 3, so on and so forth. To a minor bump, you do the sort of nudge and run, and so you can redress for the nudge and run. You won't get a time penalty, and so on and so forth. Do you agree with these new redressing rules, or do you like the old penalty drive-through system?
I don't hate it. I think it's good. I think Shane was sort of seeing how far he could go when he was just doing all his readdresses. He was just like, I'll get past you, bump. Oh, I'll readdress. Try it again. I'll readdress. It's good. I hate to see people ruin other people's races and then not get penalized, but then I don't want to penalize people for trying to overtake and then discourage overtaking. I think this rule of if you do bump someone, then you can just readdress. It's good. Just play on, keep going.
Yeah, well, I agree with you there.
It keeps
the
the
thing
race
that
going.
was happening after Eastern Creek, it sort of penalised you for having a go.
Yeah.
I understand they're the top of the range racing drivers and they probably shouldn't be punting people, but they are pushing it to the limit. they are going to over-push that limit every now and then. And to ruin their full day might make them think next time, I'm not going to push for that pass.
Yeah.
Where this might make it a little bit like what the Shane pass, the one that happened at Eastern Creek was probably a little bit worse than some of the ones I've seen on the weekend, being he nearly span all the way out.
Yeah, but then Shane only lost like one position at Eastern Creek.
And
where
it was
Fabian
to a car that
lost-
was coming
And
very fast too.
Yeah, and Fabian lost, 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah, this is true.
So I'd say
Different-
Fabian's one's...
I think differing track and like wet track and stuff like that might have been taken into account in this last meeting. It was a bit more difficult racing conditions and stuff like that. I'd say Shane probably tried to bail out and couldn't. Moff probably did the same. I think that's actually how Moff hit him in the Eastern Creek. Was he went for the pass and then went, "Oop, you're closing the door. I'm gonna bail here," and locked the brakes.
the rears, and he
And
just
it
slid.
straight into him. Yeah.
Mm.
It's probably one of the reasons that my view was it was a very harsh call.
Yeah,
he was
I
trying
don't
to
think
bail.
Moff should have got the drive-through. He readdressed. But I like this new rule. I
Yeah.
do like this.
It's encouraging you to have a
readdressing.
go.
But yeah, like I said, Shane, I felt like at the end of the race yesterday, Shane was just readdressing everyone.
Yep. And Shane actually did that. If you think back to the first race this year, was it first race or the Sunday race? Can't remember which one it was.
He did that.
He
in Adelaide.
readdressed, yeah.
He lost himself the race.
Yep. But everyone said, wow, we're seeing a different Shane. Because he
Because back in the day, old Shane wouldn't do that.
no, he would punt someone and then press on. But he went, no, and the team didn't tell him to readdress that first one either. He did it all himself. In other sad news, the Australian racing community lost another great young driver this weekend to his battle with cancer. Luke Spalding, a great up-and-coming driver, was taken too soon.
Yeah, it was. Reading what he was doing, it was amazing.
Yeah, he's was quite a good pedal man. He was doing really well. So
Sad to see someone like that go.
Yeah, condolences to his family and friends, and best wishes, and pick yourselves up.
It's very sad. In some other news, the 2017 calendar is still to be announced, but it's looking like the Asian rounds will not go ahead.
Yeah, big news. I didn't know about this until you notified me today, actually.
It only got announced today.
It was this afternoon, sorry.
This afternoon,
You're on it before I was. It's big news because I think they were really pushing for it for next year after it not going ahead this year.
Yeah, well, KL wasn't going to happen this year, like 2017. This was going to be the race in Bangkok and Jakarta. What's your thoughts? Does the V8 supercar category need to go to Asia?
Possibly for sponsorship might make it easier to get some more sponsors into the field. It's sort of one of those hard ones, to be honest. Really, really hard ones. It's one of those business things they're going to have to try it to see whether it works. This could backfire. For a lot of teams, this is more money they've got to spend, obviously. It won't be a cheap little escapade for the teams to go over there.
No.
And then if they don't pick up any more sponsorship from heading to Asia and stuff like that, and TV deals, getting them more sponsorship and stuff like that, there's going to be probably dramas later on because it's going to stretch some of the small teams' budget, which is already stretched pretty thin, even further.
Yeah, it seems to be a huge undertaking. Like, I don't know if the squeeze is worth the reward at the end of it.
Yeah.
With this.
Yep. It will be interesting. I think I'm not against them giving it a go. I feel like it's risky and it could be a problem.
I would like to see the category become more international, but I think I'd like that with drivers.
Yeah, well, speaking of international drivers.
Yes.
Out of Sandown on the weekend.
Oh, Stanaway.
Wow.
That he can
Pither
drive.
could look out because he could lose his seat.
He was flying. It was fantastic.
He was the fastest co-driver out there, I think.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, just to jump into the news there, but no, a great job. I can't wait. I hope they bring in more drivers like him next year. because that was unbelievable. And I agree with everything they were saying on the TV too. Look out for him because he's going to be a fixture in this field for years to come. If they can afford him, he's going to be there. Yeah. And I reckon next year you look for one of these teams that hasn't signed co-driver deals already that have money, and he'll be there. One thing I actually wanted to give a quick shout out to one of my mates that just finished up his championship in England. Tom did a really great job in the last round too. He managed to pull off a first, so his PB position for the British Formula 3 round.
Is Tom Maxwell?
Yes, Tom Maxwell. He managed to get a PB of third, and then the next day he went out and got a second.
Oh, good on you.
So, he stepped it up. So, hopefully, and he managed to pull off a shoey as well at the same time. So,
that's good.
So, good on you, Tom. It's a really good effort after a bit of a tough start to the year, but come on strong right at the end of the season. And
that's good.
Push forward for next year. Hopefully he gets some a good deal for next year and gets into another car, and maybe look at either. Not sure if he's going to stay in the British Formula 3 series or whether he's going to go Europe or whatever. But really strong effort, mate.
Oh, good luck to whatever you end up doing, Tom. There hasn't been too much news.
No, it's been a bit of a dry week. There's a few.
We've just had the race, and we record, as always, the Monday straight after the race, so there hasn't been too much come out.
No, not a whole heap. There's a few things going on with Mercedes front suspension, and some of the teams were calling for it to be banned. They have a hydraulic system that basically links the two front wheels. Most of the teams are running similar things, but there's this bit
More
above,
advanced.
a bit above everyone else, and they feel like that's what's giving Mercedes the advantage lately. So I'm not sure where that's going now, but it'll be interesting to see.
Talking about one Formula 1 car that's a bit advanced over all the other ones. The Manor. And its nose, the little light. Did you see that? How cool is that?
Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. Yeah,
Ted,
I did notice that.
Walked through. Well, he went into the Manor garage when he's doing his notebook. Manor's like the only one that will let them walk through with a TV camera. But anyway.
Like, we're not hiding anything here.
They still put the camera to the ground and walk through. Apparently, the little light's just run by like a watch battery or like calculator battery. Adds 1 gram of weight to the car. So you're like, why not? It doesn't do anything other than light the logo.
It looks cool, but
oh yeah. Like, if it does 1 gram, you're like, imagine if you just did illuminated logos for Singapore.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Stand out like dog's balls.
Yeah, it would.
Quickly, talking about things that stand out like dog's balls. What's your thought on the big watch or the big clock? Now, if you, we're talking about
this is
the
quite
Singapore.
funny. My wife actually seriously asked me, "Did they put a big clock there?" And I was like, and I didn't have to correct her. She was onto it pretty quickly, but I'm like, no. She's like, it's blue screened on there. I'm like, yeah. I think it was tacky, to be honest. I think it was kind of cool. I'm not 100% against it, but I think it was a little bit tacky.
Yeah, it's the overlay's not right. It wasn't match
quite right,
the rest of the colours. But also, my biggest issue is if you do it, commit to it. Every time that flyer is in picture, have the big clock. Otherwise, it's just
Rolex is paying a lot of money. Yeah.
Oh, did you want to talk on Dunlop signed on? And they're coming with a new tyre next year.
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going.
Okay, well, that's news, so let's get on to that one.
What's your thoughts? I don't know much about this, actually.
No.
Is it going to be a softer tyre? Because there's calls for it.
I don't know.
Or is it going to be a more durable soft tyre?
They haven't actually announced. They said they're coming with a new compound. Details will come out. But they've committed for another 2 years, I think, to be the controlled tyre.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it is. They've committed again.
It's good to see. I hope it is a softer tyre.
Yeah, it will be interesting because we already struggle on some tracks with our soft as it is. We're only getting 15 laps out of them.
You want a more durable?
Yeah, I'm thinking if they go slightly...
A fast, hard tyre?
A faster, like a
A medium.
Yeah.
We want
yeah.
white striped.
Well, I'm thinking still a soft compound as in grip level, but a more durable tire that doesn't cook and burn up as fast.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to take any pace away from him, but yeah, just make it slightly more durable because it is a good tire.
No.
The racing's been better since they've been to soft.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just has been better. Can't argue with it.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just made the racing a lot better.
But now you don't have
Hands
to
down.
remember what tire it is. They're all soft races.
Yeah. The only problem I have now is when they do practice on Fridays and people bring out old hards and you're like, oh, why is Whincup at the back of the field?
They've lost all their pace. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're not on the same tire as anyone else. Some things
hard
that
running in.
I was thinking about over the weekend, actually. Driver market for next year. I know this might be critical of me, and I know these two are probably bringing money to the teams. I'm talking F1 here.
Yep.
Probably bringing substantial money to the teams. NASA and Gutierrez.
Gutierrez had a good race.
Yes, but
He still finished 11th.
one race out of how many? And
Is
he's shocking at practice.
Is this his 4th or 5th 11th?
I'm not sure.
He's had a lot of 11ths.
Has he had any points?
No. Magnussen got another point this round.
Yeah, that's another one. Magnussen, I think, will stay next year.
Yeah,
I'm
Palmer's
starting
gone.
to think Palmer's gone.
He hasn't proven himself.
Yeah.
He needs to do something. Maybe go to a manor. I don't know.
Well, they've got plenty of money too. They'll be bringing money to that team.
What interesting thing that I took away from Ted's qualifying notebooks, I think it was. Mercedes give Manor a discount on their engines to take Wehrlein. But they're like, next year we can take that away because Wehrlein's proved that he's a good driver and people want him.
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't have to pay, we'll give a discount on our engines to get you in
They're
a
doing
car.
the same with
You're going to
Ocon.
take him anyway.
Yeah, they're doing the same with Ocon.
This could really hurt Manor.
Yeah, Manor's getting subsidised by Renault and also Mercedes to have Ocon there. That is the weirdest deal I've ever seen.
How does that work?
He is a Renault development driver and a Mercedes test driver. It's weird.
He's in bed with too many people.
There's rumours that Ocon might go to Renault.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that.
Yes.
Ocon's doing really well.
He's doing pretty well.
Would you take Wehrlein over Ocon?
Well, Ocon already has a Renault contract.
Mm.
So I'd
But,
say
like,
he'll be
just-
first to go.
You're
You're
a team manager,
Okay,
right?
if you were just to choose, if
You
you
had
had
to
the
choose
wallet
out of
and you
those
didn't
two.
care, it's a hard one. Ocon's been very quick out of the box.
Yeah. Like
But
Wehrlein's...
since Wehrlein's had a better driver beside him, he's changed.
Hmm.
There's rumours that Herianto might come back for next year. Apparently, all of a
Indonesia
sudden,
gave him some more money.
yeah. Apparently, all of a sudden, all these Asian investors come out of the woodwork after he got dumped. Basically, maybe they were like, they won't dump him.
Yeah.
No, that shit's real, man. They dumped him. It's done.
It's gone. Shit, I thought you guys were joking.
yeah, it's done. So I think that'll be interesting too. That's another one that could be a interesting little seat change there.
There's going to be a couple of
I
seats
reckon
that open
Ocon
up.
will go Renault. I think Herianto might come back unless there's someone else with a lot of money that wants to pay for a seat at the Manor. I think good on Manor. They've done well this year, and really, I think Sauber still struggle to score any points this year. No matter how many upgrades they bring to that car, it's a pretty useless car. They're getting faster,
They are.
but
I
they're
mean,
not going to beat.
they're
They're not going
improving,
to.
but-
They're not going to beat Toro Rosso and Williams.
And they're not going to put huge money into this car with next year's such a big upgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
Another
God,
time.
I got all excited. I started talking through one of my workers this afternoon about next year's car, and I'm just getting excited about it. I want to see them running already and see what they're like. After Remy come out and basically said anyone that hasn't driven a Formula One car before and they move to Formula One next year, trying to drive these new cars is going to be scared of them.
That's good. They're pushing
They're
like
fast.
940 horsepower or something, Mercedes.
Yeah, and I think it's not just the horsepower; it's the how scary the grip is, how much corner speed they're going to have next year. It's going to be scary at places like Monaco and Singapore. The mechanical grip back and downforce, those tracks are going to be proper scary fast.
They're giving Formula One grip back.
Yeah.
Can we give some V8 supercars some grip on the rear?
Yeah.
Can we go for some
No,
wide tyres?
they've never had grip on the
Well,
rear.
can we just one season give it to them? You think these guys drive well now? Give them some grip.
Yeah, it's true. It's a bit of a dance out there in a V8 supercar. What my mate says, he was an engineer in V8s for quite a few years, and he was talking about him. And he's like, you got to throw a V8 supercar around the track to get it like lap time out of them.
Yeah.
You don't finesse a V8 supercar. You got to throw them around to get the lap speed.
You don't be gentle with them, that's for sure. Jump into the Sandown 500. Before we get the main game, let's recap one of the big incidents that happened. This one. So this is the start of the Dunlop race 2 or 3? 2.
This was race 2.
So Bryce is the person we're concentrating in the Middies Falcon. But
It's
every time I see this crash,
it's devastating
It's
for a
so-
lot of the cars out there.
it is. So if you didn't see this, this is an incident with Matt Charter and who else? Who did he come?
Jack LeBrock.
About half the field.
Yeah, there was quite a few cars. I think there was 5 cars in total.
So 2 of the cars, Matt Charter and someone else, come together. On the
So
inside.
that was Adam Margarine,
Yep.
and Charter were racing down sort of the inside of the field. Margarine was he was quite far onto the track. Charter was running down the apron of
Yeah, he was very much on the
straight.
inside.
Yeah, which turns in there is no inside eventually.
It just
It turns
sort
to
of
grass.
Yeah, it just
and then
cuts
turns
off.
to curb, and then it turns to cars in front of you,
Yes.
which he found out very quickly.
Well, he smashed the curbs.
He had a pretty big incident further back, like probably 100 meters back from the corner. Him and Margarine make pretty big wheel-to-wheel contact. I reckon Margarine's car nearly come a meter off the ground.
Yeah.
And I think that's plucked the right rear out of the car, and then he was just on a roller coaster straight down to the turn 1 there.
We lifted up over the curb, which sent him flying over Bryce Fullwood's car.
Yeah, there's a substantial amount of damage. I was talking to Bryce on Saturday Arvo, and he pretty much said straight away that he wouldn't be out there again tomorrow. And I said, well, how bad is it, mate? And I said that in the in-car footage, it looked like the roll cage was bent. And he said, yeah, there's quite a lot of damage actually done to the cage and the car. So
Well, you showed me some photos that Bryce put up on his Facebook page, and it's the whole A pillar's like busted.
yeah, it pushed it over a fair way. And it's Bryce actually had I think it's his own camera, I think he's got in the vehicle, and you can see the hole underneath of Charter's car.
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
It's amazing. So through Bryce's windscreen, you can see the hole underneath of his car. It's unbelievable.
It was a big crash. It took a few cars out.
It was, and it ended up with Charter being excluded from the round, which was pretty big. I think that's come after the round too. I don't think that was a big. I
That
don't
got
think it was
announced
called.
this afternoon.
Yeah, and I'd say ProDrive basically pushed for that to happen.
Well, that took LeBrock was the points
LeBrock.
leader, who's
Yeah.
pro drive. So yeah,
Yeah.
Tim Edwards probably.
LeBrock was very critical of Charter too. I don't know.
A lot of
I'm
these
not a
Dunlop
huge
boys
Murphy
are.
fan, but Murphy was very critical of LeBrock being critical because he actually tipped another young fella off the track who was going to be on for his first ever Dunlop not series win, but Dunlop race win. Todd Hazelwood. He was doing a great job. Todd was out front, tricky conditions, and LeBrock, I'm not sure how he didn't get a penalty, but he gave him a punt off and basically ruined Todd's race, and no penalty. I was expecting a grid drop or something for the next race because it was on. I think it was the last lap or a couple of laps to go. It was not far off the end of the race, and it really surprised me that there was no penalty given to LeBrock for it. And then the very next race, someone did a silly move. Yep, bit of a roller coaster, pinballed his way down into turn 1, took LeBrock out, and LeBrock got out of the car and served him, and then said that he should give up racing on national television.
Yeah.
Without even watching any replays or anything like that. It was, I just think it was a bit childish.
I have noticed a lot of these Dunlop boys, when they come to, they're more than happy to go open the door to the other guy's car and just have a nice little chat to each other.
Yeah.
You don't even see that sometime in the main game.
You do not. It took me back a little bit. I thought LeBrock should have held his tongue and been a bit more humble, but he didn't. Maybe that's just the type of bloke he is. My big thing is I feel for some of the smaller teams out there. So LeBrock, his car had substantial damage.
Yeah. But they managed to fix it and get
his
it out.
car is a pro drive car. It's actually, I think, Frosty's car from last year.
Yeah.
So it's the championship car. I'm pretty sure that's the car he's running. But they're running current spec FGXs.
Well, the first thing
which
I
are the
noticed,
fastest car in the field.
The first thing I noticed in the photos that you showed me, especially the one from inside Bryce's car, and you can see the other car going over the front of it. I'm like, that's an old car.
Yeah, it was
fuel tank's in the back.
Yeah, Charter's car is an old spec car. Same with Bryce's car, and that's one of the most impressive things about Bryce at the moment. He's qualifying up near Dumbrell, which is in an old spec car as well. He's starting to get that pace from the car and putting it in front of some of the current spec cars.
He was like mid-pack, like
he started that race in 8th or 9th.
Yeah, it was quite up, and he had a good start.
Yeah, he had a good qualifying. He qualified 9th, I think, or 8th. I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, he did really, really good job. He's last couple of meetings, he's been really picking that car up and doing a great job with it. The problem with this is you've got kids like Jack out there, got quite a lot of backing behind him. So he's got a hell of a lot of backing behind him. He's with the fastest. He's got the fastest car out there. Him and Gary Jacobson. Yeah, and they've got the two fastest cars out there. They're the current model FGXs, prepared by ProDrive, run by ProDrive, engineered by ProDrive, fixed by ProDrive. Like everything is great for them. They're in the box seat really. If you can't win in that car, there's something wrong, and they're winning.
That's why he's leading the champion.
Yeah, they're both of them are the two championship leaders, and that's fine. But the problem is, it's these smaller teams, teams like Bryce's team. He raced for Matt White, and all these other smaller cars out there. They can't afford to just, hey boys, get the 16 crew members that we've got for a main game, fix my car overnight, please, and we don't care about the cost, just do it.
Yeah.
They can't afford that sort of stuff, so it's these smaller teams that really get hurt by this sort of stuff. I understand LeBrock did lose. I think he lost the championship lead because of it.
Yeah, he did.
There's plenty more races left for him to go to get that back. So, bit of a strange one. Feel for them all out there. Charter probably did the wrong. Well, he did the wrong thing. He ran down the apron, trying to steal up gather up some spots, and it was just never going to.
This isn't the first race of the year. Yeah, this is coming into one of their last. They should. Yep.
He basically ran up the apron, and it was never going to end well because he was going to have to merge back onto the track where there was a full grid of cars, and it was always going to end in tears. It's sad to see people like Bryce didn't even get to race on Sunday because their car
was unrepairable.
Yeah, basically that's I would hazard to guess another 40 grand fix. Like that's big money.
Yeah,
that's like a whole race meeting pretty much. It's budget blown just on fixing the car for next race meeting, which is Bathurst.
On something that you didn't do anything.
He was a passenger. He was just doing perfect. He got a great start, got up to the first corner, and then bam, got railroaded by a car that was actually flying.
Yeah, it's
kind of almost funny to be honest, but I reckon it'd be hard for them to see the funny side of it.
Shall we go
after
on
my
to...
rant?
No, it's all right. This is why we have a podcast. If you want to rant.
So, the 500, mate.
Yeah, it was good to finally get into the Enduro season.
It was.
We've now done our first leg of it, which felt like coming into it's like, oh god, it's another endurance race. Like you think 500 k's, you're like this is gonna take like 5 hours, and then it's over and done straight away. You're like, wow,
Yeah, that race went really quickly.
it did.
It
Even
did.
with the pause,
Yeah.
I know we didn't get our full laps.
Yeah, what were we 12 or 13 laps short?
A bit
or something?
short, yeah. Not
Can't remember how much, but yeah, we were a few laps short. A lot of things happened during the race. Some pretty big championship implications for Wing Cup and also Winterbottom.
Well, Frosty's championship's done.
Yep.
I thought
He's
it
come
was
out
done
and
before that.
Yeah,
But
he's come out and said basically, yeah, well, we probably have to look for next year now.
rip that number 1 off the door.
Because it's all over pretty much.
It's a little
Um,
sad. I mean, Dean Canto didn't drive particularly well this weekend.
No, I agree. He had a few mishaps. The one in the co-driver race was a pretty big one.
Yeah, it
He
was a
took
bit.
out Stevo and Alberto.
Yeah, it's like just uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, I don't know. More pressure this year now. He's with Winterbottom versus Reynolds. I reckon Reynolds would have it all flowing, all happy, go lucky. Doesn't matter if we win. Who cares? Let's just go out there and go fast, have a ball, get some spots. Where I think Winterbottom's a bit more serious.
Yeah, Frosty's like, come on, man.
We've got to win.
Got to win. I need to win. I'm too far behind.
Yeah, it was very damaging. And then on the flip side of the coin, I thought Wing Cup and Dumbrell had done a great job until we got to the race, and it sort of all headed south from the start.
From the start of the race, Dumbrell, uncharacteristic like, which is my new word this podcast. I've said that a couple of times now.
It's like one of my favorite drivers.
Yeah, you have
From-
many favorite drivers.
Yeah.
He just didn't get it off the line at all. Just sat there spinning wheels.
Yeah, he really struggled. He got swamped.
And then he got pushed back to like 6 or something. And he did fight his way back up.
Oh, he was fast. He just struggled off the line, and then they had just mishap after mishap, and the belt saga, that was a big one.
The belts, like, as soon as I saw him come into the pits and he's popped it off the shoulder. He's already undone it, popped it off the shoulder, disconnected the cool suit, put that through the belt, so when he comes out, it's not going to get caught. He did everything like what I thought when I first saw it. This is very organized.
Yeah, very
But
smooth.
I did notice, I'm like, he's still driving the car. He doesn't have a seatbelt on.
Well, the belt was still done up. He just loosened it all the way off. And that's not against the rules. That's fine. They went to the rule book and checked all that.
I thought, didn't he have his shoulder out so he wasn't secured in?
What he did was he put his hand through the belt before he come to a stop. So what he did is he ended up with the belt realistically pretty much not on his left arm at all.
Yeah.
He had it was over top of his arm, but his arm wasn't through the belt anymore. And they classed that as unfastened.
So if he didn't have his arm in the belt.
He can have his belts loosened off so that when Jamie jumped, so he just hits the button, the belts go up, and Jamie can jump in and they pull the belts back down. All Jamie has to do is tighten them.
All right.
That's all fine. But he could not put his arm through the belt.
Okay, see,
So when he
I
hit
just
the
thought
button,
it was.
yeah.
I thought it was the fact that he had the belt pretty much half undone with his arm out of it.
Yeah, no, it come down to the fact that he'd put his arm through, and then it kind of slipped under the radar a little bit to begin with. I thought it looked very strange.
Yeah, no one said anything, and then when they come up that he's been reported for a pit lane infringement, I was like, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, with Slade's car, I just don't know what he was thinking, to be honest. Probably thought the camera wasn't on him and he would have got away with it. Now, I think that's one thing that's a bit of a drama with the TV cameras. It kind of penalises some of the teams, especially Red Bull, PRA.
Oh, yeah, because like Lucas Dumbrell can get away with anything in cap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, they could have been, like, dancing in there with no belts on. No one would have cared because no one's seen it.
Yeah.
But
it's a bit like the whole
focused
coming in doing the pits, and then you got the cameras that, watch the rear wheels.
Yep.
Not every team has a camera. Well, not every...
I agree. I
pit stop
100%
has a
agree.
camera.
I think the same thing every time it gets caught. I go, you unlucky bastards. If they hadn't have caught that on camera,
Yep.
V8s aren't going through all the data to see who's got a wheel spin and when it's up in the air. No one cares. It's just
No one
if
cares.
it's
a
get
safety
caught on,
thing.
yeah, no one cares unless they get caught. The Slade one I thought was a bit reckless. Like
The
I
Slade-
can
he shouldn't
understand Dumbrell's one. He was coming to a stop. The belts are loose. They're not doing anything anyway. But the Slade one, I thought, you're driving off without the belt. Like you're not even looking.
You're not even done up.
And he wasn't even really looking where he was going because he's still focused on his belts. Now, I think that's more of a risk in pit lane where there's other people around. He's focusing on what he's doing in his lap and not what's out the front of his car.
Yeah.
There's pit crew in pit lane. That's dangerous. He might as well had his mobile phone out and start texting. Like it was a bit silly. I'm sure they won't do it again. They got caught, and I think he'll learn from that.
Yeah.
It was odd. Normally, there's enough time to get the driver change. So I would have liked to have seen the start of that change because it was very slow.
Normally, you're waiting on fuel, but I think everyone's having issues with the belts this year. They don't have the elastic at the top.
Yeah, they're not allowed the elastic anymore that holds them away from the driver. Who was it? Russell Ingall? When he got out of the car, he just dropped the belts.
Oh, I didn't.
I can't remember. They were talking about one, and then when the next driver jumped in, he sat on all the belts.
Oh, I did see that. I can't remember who. I remember them talking about the fact that he just sat on the belts.
Yeah.
Was it Russell?
I can't remember. It might have been Russell Ingall. I'm not sure. But yeah, they said that was really detrimental to the time it took to change the driver. So I think there'll be a few drivers and co-drivers maybe being forced to do a bit more practice.
Sandown, they only do one driver change.
Yeah, essentially, it's one driver change. It's a decent race. One driver has to do a third of the time, and the other driver can do up to 2/3. But you come to Bathurst,
of the scheduled race distance.
Yeah, well, that was a bit silly. There was a bit of something to come out of the weekend, actually. And I'll let you recap it. But, yeah, I couldn't believe it when they got caught for it.
That was dumb. We might as well jump into that now. Erebus, Reynolds, and Craig Baird got excluded from the race because Beardo didn't do the minimum number of laps. And the thing that just gets me on that, they were told live on the telecast going, he hasn't done enough laps. And they're like, oh, no. Yeah, they're boffins over there. They know what they're doing. They said it's just race distance.
Yeah, it was a percentage of race distance, and we're not going to be able to do the race distance, so we only have to do a minimum of so
Makes a number of laps.
Yeah.
But Scafie and Crompto said, well, Neil, go down there, tell them they have to do it. I mean, I know it's not the commentary's position to tell a team what they need to do, but surely someone from the V8 supercars have gone, you haven't done enough laps. They were running down next to nowhere. Wouldn't it be better to just pit, get out of the car, Davey, get back in, Birdo, finish it?
James Golding's crash, mate. You think bit of a rookie mistake, not listening to the team and that, or do you think it could have happened to anyone? Or what's your views on that, Michael?
Initial watch through, I thought he was unlucky. At the start, I actually thought he got hit by Courtney. But I wasn't paying 100% attention, and then I was like, hang on, he was nowhere near him. Yeah, once all the replays had gone through and that they started to, disclose what's happened. And when the team said, we told him, check your tyres, I think maybe that was a little bit of rookie mistake.
Yeah, that he was... my personal view is I feel that he did a great job, and he'd just come from a strong finish in his development series, and it was a bit of a shame for him to go out so early in that race. It's a shame for Moffat too, actually, to be honest.
I was really looking forward to Moff starting that high up.
God, it really put a dampener on the start of the race for me, to be honest, with Moff not continuing. But I think he should have listened more. I think he felt the car still felt all right. There was some pressure in the tyre. They said it was 9 PSI, yeah. But yeah, a bit of a rookie mistake. It's such a high risk
speed
area.
Did you see while we're waiting for the race to restart, and they went and got some file footage of other cars that had crashed there?
Yeah.
That WOW one. Right before there was a tyre wall there, it was just concrete barrier and a fence.
Yeah, that really wrecked that car.
Yeah, I was like, wow, good thing that one didn't happen.
Even the Courtney one in the old spec car. Jeez.
Was it Courtney? Was Will Davison?
Oh, Will Davison, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a big crash.
That
And
was
then
amazing.
Lee
That's
Holsworth's come off there.
Yeah, but that Erebus seemed to hold together fairly well.
Yeah.
Well, he walked away from that crash fine.
Mm.
That was
they had
unbelievable.
the E-cell in there.
Yeah, they had the E-cell already. Yep.
No, it was a big crash. I hope James Golding can bounce back from this. It was definitely like the biggest one of his career so far. But yeah, feel very sorry for Moff.
Yeah. Hopefully those two can fix that up for Bathurst and have a strong showing. Poor Davo when he got freight trained.
Oh, it was just unlucky.
Honestly, to be honest, he needed.
He was holding everyone up.
No, I'm not against him holding everyone up. He's doing what he can to get a good race result, and they ended up with a good result anyway. But he needed to slot back in. I think it was Scotty was one of the first ones to pass him.
Yeah,
I can't remember. After the first or second car passed him, he needed to ease off the gas, slot back into the line. There was a gap, but he didn't.
Yeah,
he wanted to press on and try and go side by side.
Back.
And it just penalised him. He just ended up 2, 3, 4. I think he ended up 5 places behind.
Yeah, he lost a lot. I messaged you saying, talking about it, and it's something that happens in the sport, and I'm surprised a lot more drivers don't try and just quickly jump back behind.
Yeah, I was really surprised for a driver like him that's been doing it for so many years, didn't just try and consolidate where he was and get back into the line. He just stayed offline forever, which really would have hurt his lap time, and yeah, it hurt his position on the field. But obviously, in the end, they come back for a third position. Really strong showing from them. From a smaller team, I understand they are in there with Caltex, but it was a great showing by them. They needed to do this again. He's been struggling a little bit for pace. He's been a little bit hot and cold, and that's awesome for them to come out and do that great job. And you can't take it away from Jonathan Webb. That bloke barely hops in a car all year and then jumps straight in and does a great job. Oh,
yeah, Jono's really good. I remember when he first started the team, I was like, who's this Jono Webb guy? Rah, rah. And he's really good. He's really flourished as a co-driver. And some drivers, this is what we haven't talked about. Ash Walsh at the start.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job coming up. What did he get, 5 spots before the bloody first corner?
I was writing you a message saying, oh my God, Ash Walsh lightning off the start. And then James Golding crashed. I'm like, delete that message and then start a new one. But yeah, he just took off.
Solid effort.
And here's another one that's some drivers that they get dropped from the main game, come back as a endurance driver and flourish. They do really well just being as...
I think what that is some of these drivers go from a team where they were a full-time driver, but may not have been a strong team, come to these big endurance events and they become a co-driver, but they're coming for a Red or 888 car or a FPR car or PRA car or a HRT car, and that really strengthens them.
Yeah, they're jumping into these front runners.
Yeah, cars already been engineered, set up. The main guy's getting the car set up. He's driving it every day. Well, not every day, but every meeting he's driving it. So him and the engineer are clicking really well. As long as you have a similar driving style, it's going to help you a lot.
Because, Pramat, he did a great job.
He did a great job, even though everyone was rubbishing him in the commentary. I thought they were quite harsh on him, but he did a great job.
He just stayed out of trouble and gave the car to Shane when he needed to, and I think he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I agree. They weren't so much rubbishing his performance this time. They're just rubbishing the fact that he was chosen. They were saying that he was a bit of a heated driver, and he.
They kept talking about.
Yeah, he used to make stupid decisions
in the middle of a race and stuff.
Yeah. So, but good on him. He proved them wrong, and he did a great job. There's a few costly mistakes from a few of the co-drivers. Steve-O Richards had a pretty costly one up on the curb.
A lot of people did.
The Ingle, a few of the co-drivers.
Bradley Jones's sons, both of them.
Yep.
Had issues. He had his whole family racing.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was Jones everywhere.
Yeah, Macaulay and Andrew both were out there.
Good on them. I was hoping BOC could have a nice good running Well, not just BOC, but BJR. I wouldn't mind seeing, like, a young Jones get up there.
Yeah. It'll be actually, that's an interesting seat to watch for next year. I'm still wondering whether Bright's going to be there or not.
Nah.
You don't reckon? You reckon
No.
it's done finally?
Yeah, I reckon it's done.
It'd be interesting. He has so much pull in that,
He owns
seat.
half his license.
so it'll be interesting.
I think that, Bright's time has come. Maybe he can, if he wants, and Bradley wants, maybe they can, he can work his way into a different role in the team.
I think he should be a help develop new drivers. I think he should
brand
definitely,
ambassador.
Yep. I think he should also maybe still have an endurance seat for next year. He'd be a valuable endurance driver.
He'd be
definitely.
someone that you'd, maybe give Andrew Jones or someone, say give Andrew Jones the drive and then give Bright back for the endurance.
Yeah, yep.
Like,
I
Bright's someone that's not going to go anywhere. Like when Tander retires and Lowndes retires, all these guys are going to be in high demand for endurance.
It will be interesting. Do you reckon, this is off topic here,
Yeah, that's right.
since we're talking about it anyway, you reckon when Lowndes retires, whether he'll come back and do a few endurances afterwards, or do you reckon once he retires, he'll be straight into a media sort of role and back off from the racing?
I think he'll probably be in a media role, but it's not going to stop him from racing.
Because it'll be interesting, won't it?
I don't know if he's going to go in a media role.
I think he will.
You think he will?
Yeah.
Straight
Can
away?
you imagine? Maybe he might not want to, but when someone offers you millions of dollars to come in and do a media role, I think he'll take it. I think he could pretty much ask for as much money as the Ingle and Schaefer put together, and they'd probably give it to him because he has that much pull.
Yeah.
He's knowledgeable. He has that much pull. Everyone in pit lane, well, not everyone, but majority of people in pit lane like him.
Yeah.
So he's approachable he can talk to any team, and they're not going to just shut him out because they don't like him.
He's got the experience and the most wins.
Be interesting, wouldn't it?
I just can't picture Lowndesy commentating.
Can't you?
No. And do you know who I miss in the commentary team? And I
Sure.
don't know if this is because I don't have Foxtel and don't see their coverage. Larko. Is he on?
No, he's not. He's only on Channel 10 races.
Oh.
I know. They need to move him over to Foxtel because...
Get rid of, what's his name? Greg Rust.
Yeah, Rusty's struggling.
Rusty struggles at everything.
I thought he was not too bad when he was doing F1. He was a lot more serious. Now they've
Yeah, because
pushed
he was
him into
barely
V8s.
on the TV and he sat at a desk and they cut to the parts between ads.
Yep. But now with V8s, they've pushed him into... I don't know if it's him. I think they've almost pushed him into this weird role where he's like a liaison with the teams.
He's like
like
a
a
floating pit reporter.
Yeah, but he's also meant to be some sort of puppet comedian.
He's not
Have you
funny.
noticed that?
He's not funny.
Everything they do with him, it's like got some sort of trying to be funny undertone to it, and it's
I think
hopeless.
It's just like Scaife and Crompto and Murph to an extent just like picking on Rusty.
They do. They love doing that.
But I really like Larko. Larko, just the way he'd explain stuff and just like his whiteboard.
Larko needs to be there. He needs to be there. It's a bit disappointing he hasn't been for the last 2 years, but he needs to be there. It's silly what's going on at the moment with him. The division between Channel 10 and Foxtel, it's got to stop. At the moment, it's slowed down a bit because I think Supercars took over a lot of the media side of it, and maybe they're paying... I don't know how this works, but I almost think that Supercars is making a production now and selling it to Foxtel like Formula 1 does, except for I think Supercars is actually paying Scaife and Ingle and Rian and Jess and all
they
those.
don't have Foxtel or anything on their shows. They just got...
Where last year they all had Foxtel. Foxtel was branded on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Where now it's all Supercars.
Yeah.
Or Virgin Australia Supercars, or whatever they have on their
it's
shirts.
the Supercar logo. But I don't know. I like
Larko needs to be there.
Yeah.
He's got to be there. And I agree with you 100%. It's one of my favourite parts of watching V8 Supercars was always Larko talking us through what's going to happen in this round.
Yeah, well, when Greg Rust talks to like drivers or people, I don't trust him. I trust Larko.
Well, it's not that I don't trust
And
Rusty.
also, just sometimes it
It's
seems a little
more
awkward.
like with Larko, I think people are too scared to bullshit him.
Yeah.
Where
It's like-
Russ, they're just like, I could tell this guy anything, and he'll just smile and nod, smile and nod, smile and nod. Yep.
Yeah,
Where with Larko there, I think he brings that integrity to the sport. The knowledge he has is unbelievable, and the way he's able to relay that knowledge is no one else can.
no. Like,
So,
it's just the things that you always remember. Just
who's
the whiteboard.
doing the whiteboard now?
Crompto.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's not a whiteboard.
Oh, they did one the other day.
It's a like Microsoft Surface Pro thing. It's all computer touch.
Oh, I think they did one at Sandown.
No,
No,
they got
you're
the
right.
Hino Hub.
Yeah, they do.
It's the Hino Hub. It's just all digital.
Yep.
They got a digital whiteboard.
I do like Crompto.
Oh,
I don't think
Crompto and Scaife are fine.
Crompto and Scaife should stay. Ingle's good. I like Ingle there for a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
But we need to get Larko back in there.
Get rid of Greg Rust.
We need to do, the sport really needs to do some more branding.
Mm.
Honestly, I think it's one, I'm probably a bit biased being a bit of a motorsport. My life
Fanatic.
revolves around it sort of thing. But I honestly think it's one of the most enjoyable things you can watch on television. I'm sure there's plenty of people that love football or basketball or soccer or golf or cricket that would disagree with me.
I wouldn't put golf and cricket as watching in the same category.
What, as motorsport or as each other?
As each other.
That's because you like cricket and you don't like watching golf. But my view is we need to be marketing this to more people. We need to get it. Sponsorship dollars will flow once we get it. I know that's why they're doing the whole Asia thing. They're trying to pump it into some new audiences and stuff like that. But we maybe need to look at how we can market it more to the audiences we already have. I'm no guru on this. I have no answers for them, but I think they need to be looking for some answers. F1, this new takeover, I think that's where they're going.
The V8 supercar race was a very long race.
It was.
I think we've talked enough about V8s.
Big things I took away from it.
Yep.
Bad weekend
For Frosty.
for Winton Cup and Frosty.
Yeah.
Big championship point swing.
Yeah, the big thing is that Shane's now leading the championship.
Yep. Great weekend for HRT. Unbelievable weekend. They've really got to take a lot out of this. And this is going to be their backbone now for Bathurst. They have now got a competitive car.
Mm-hmm. They've got a
And
good driver
this-
lineup.
They've got a good driver lineup, and they're going to be strong. I'd be watching for them at Bathurst as well. So that will be...
Tanner could win the Pertec
could-
Endurance Cup.
And that'll be 2 years in a row, you know that?
Yeah, HRT are just this team that you always forget about. I mean, I can't forget about them, but
Well,
stuff
last
that
year's
they're-
Enduro Cup, I think we had 3 different winners.
3 different winners, but Tander and Luff were just
So,
consistent.
yeah, and they won Gold Coast, I think.
No,
What
James
they win?
Courtney. James Courtney and Jack Perkins won.
Okay. What did they win last year? I can't remember.
Nothing.
But yeah, they just had a sort of a great Enduro Cup season sort of thing, and they come away with the most points, obviously, to win. So that was the big things I took away from the weekend. Real shame for the Dunlop series to see so many cars out. It's good to see Chelsea Alangelo. I can't remember how do you say it.
Yeah, she did
pronounce it
really
last-
well.
Yeah, a bit of a shame. She was out. I think she got out. Crashed out, or not crashed out, but had mechanical failures and spun off the track and got stuck in the mud in one race and stuff like that. Bit of a frustrating weekend for her to get back into the development series after missing a couple of rounds. But good to see her back, and I think that's signed for the rest of the year now.
Oh, that's good.
She's with Matt White, I think, as well, and that should help her a lot as well. And she seemed to get a bit more pace out of the car as well. So that's all positives for her, and it's good to see her back out there.
The next
Nissan didn't really have a good run.
No,
That was
and we
one
haven't
thing I
touched
took
on
away.
this, but it was good to see Nissan sign another 2 years as well.
Yes, yep. And big commitment from Nissan on the weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see they had, what was it, up to 1,000 people that
Yeah,
they brought
those
along to the
branding
races?
was everywhere.
Yeah,
was good.
that was awesome to see. Obviously, everyone sort of knew the Nissan deal was going ahead, but it's good to have it in writing. It's all done.
Really? Apart
That's
from,
about it. That's
Ev-
about all I've got from it. Tough weekend on Moffat. Great weekend from...
It's just hope everyone managed to bounce back and attack the mountain.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, next round, look out. My favourite round of the year, and I think it's pretty much everyone in Australia's favourite motorsport weekend of the year.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's jump to the other category.
Moving on. F1.
Yep.
Do you want to start at the start?
No.
Why not?
Okay. Start at the start. Go.
Well, what a shunt. Off the line there. Verstappen went nowhere and it just concertinaed that pack right up, didn't it?
It did, and I wasn't expecting a bad start from him. I was expecting a bad start from one of the Mercedes.
Yeah, Rosberg was actually quite quick into the first corner. Now, I know that side of the track, Mercedes were sort of got the lucky straw there. That side of the track is gripped up. It's the rub it up line where, P2, P4, P6, P8, so on and so on, is on the dirty
not on the racing line
and non-rub it up side.
Yeah.
Rosberg did great to get in the first corner ahead of Ricciardo.
Yeah, Ricciardo got a decent start. Like, the track was pretty green anyway. It had a big storm the night before.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, God, that shunt with
Hulkenberg. Wow. How did Verstappen miss that?
I don't know. I have no idea, but
He's got reactions like a goddamn cat.
It was just...
It went straight across in front of him.
And then it was over. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Wow. But yeah, so that was a pretty crazy start. Shame to see the Hulk out.
He was so high. Well,
he seems to be like Scotty Pie.
Bad luck.
Bad luck. I don't think that was his fault, and I don't think you could really blame Carlos Sainz. That was just one of those races.
It's a racing
one
incident.
Of those starts.
Unfortunate.
There's concrete on both sides. No one could really go to the left of him, so everyone had to go to the middle.
Yeah, when they said they were investigating that throughout the race, I was like, what? It's something that happens at a start.
Yeah. So that was a real shame. Bottas got the flat tyre as well. That's kind of put them on the back foot for the rest of the race and kind of ruined it.
And then he had the that seat belt.
Yeah, that scares me. That shouldn't have happened.
No.
And I had never seen a driver interview with him afterwards to find out whether that's why they ended up retiring the car or not. I think they had an overheating problem afterwards.
They said it was overheating during the race, and then afterwards they're like, oh, it was a different issue. But apparently, when he was stopped for so long in the pits, they had Mercedes engine crew coming into the back of the pits, like telling them that you can't be sitting there this long.
Yeah.
This is all apparently according to Ted on his notebook. But yeah, that's why. Like, the team said during the race, we sat for too long and the engine heated up and we got told we had to stop it. He wasn't running in the points. He was running nowhere. Retire him, save the engine. But then they came out at the end and said it was something different.
Yeah,
but anytime your seatbelt doesn't work, it's scary.
That is very scary. I honestly think the FIA will probably be investigating to see why the seatbelt had come loose or whatnot. That'll be very interesting to see what comes out of that.
When you went through the first set of pit stops, God, Hamilton wasn't happy.
No, very critical.
He just didn't seem very happy.
It's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. Are you sick of drivers feeding the media bullshit? Because I'm sick of it when... This is another rant. Sorry, everybody. So when the pre-race interviews and everything with Hamilton and the after-qualifying interviews with Hamilton and even the pre-qualifying interviews with Hamilton, they're probably the ones I'd focus on more because everyone's asking him, so are you on the back foot now because you've had such a bad practice, 3 practices? So are you on the back foot going into qualifying? Is this going to hinder you in qualifying? And is it going to hinder you in the race? No, it's all fine. I know the track. I've got Nico's data to look at. It doesn't really matter whether I practice or not.
Yeah.
Be honest with everyone.
Yeah, but he's not going to come out and be like, oh, mate, I've stuffed up. I haven't ran any practice. I'm screwed. Like,
I agree with you. He shouldn't come out and be negative, but he should be at least somewhat honest, I think. Singapore is probably the most... Okay, Singapore and Monaco are probably one of the 2 tracks that you have to get out there and build up.
Yeah.
They don't turn up at Singapore and go out there and push 110% because that's going to end in a wall every corner of the track.
Yeah.
So they build up and build up and get confidence in the car, and they learn what the car's doing over every bump because the track changes every year. All these sorts of things. I thought it was very strange that he was trying to blow off like, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's fine.
Yeah, I just don't expect you're going to get 100% honest.
No, I don't. And I agree. I don't expect them to be 100% honest, but the way he was blowing it out was like it was nothing.
Well, what's your thoughts on the Thursday driver conference with Ricardo?
Jesus, he was serious, wasn't he? He was taking it super serious. All the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I should be solid for a top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10.
The top 10 finish is pretty safe.
I think I'll finish in the points.
What do you say at the end? It's like, I don't know how much I'm paying for a top 10, but it's pretty safe money. It's $1.14, so I put $10 on him.
How's that $1.40 feel?
It's great. I didn't lose money. I made $1.40.
It would have sucked if he crashed, didn't it?
I know.
I lost $10.
No, Ricardo did very well for me. He got fastest lap.
Yeah, he did a great
He got
job.
on the podium. I had him top 10, top 6,
It's
podium.
just great to see him back that happy again.
Oh, he just looked stoked.
He was happy as and I think something was really telling in the post race when he was rolling around on his cool down lap and he was talking to the team. He said, "Thanks for trying something."
Oh yeah, I think he just didn't want to just sit around going, "I can't catch him.
Let's consolidate second here.
Yeah.
Let's just coast."
Let's just fight." Like they had nothing to lose.
I think it's really good because I honestly think he's probably one of those drivers that can't really do that consolidate, coast, whatever. He needs to push. He needs to push. When he's not pushing, he's not having fun. He's driving slower. It was great to see. The Mercs, the return of the hot brakes. That's
from the start of the race. I suppose like lap 1. Nico,
conserve
brakes. Look after your brakes.
It's odd, isn't it? You think they'd bring a different brake package, ducting, whatever, to this meeting, but they don't. They just must be under braked regardless, because all the other teams were flowing around in hot air, still didn't have this same problem. Even when Hamilton was 2, 3, 4 seconds behind, he was still having to conserve brakes because they were too hot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit weird with what Mercedes did with that. They seem to be the only cars that have this issue.
Yeah, they seem to really struggle with their brakes. Another big one. What do you think of Kvyat and Verstappen?
It's good to watch.
That was pretty amazing.
I sent you a message. I'm like, these two are going to crash.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I was expecting it.
That was some of... And Verstappen started to complain. I'm like, come on. He hasn't done anything compared to what you do to all the other drivers.
You stole his drive.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't even thinking about that. That would have been nice for Danny.
He come out and he's like, I've got my confidence back.
Yeah.
Like that felt really good. I think he needed this.
Yeah, he was great in Singapore. But I think it also... Verstappen is probably one of the hardest defenders out there. Like, he basically makes you decide whether you're going to crash or stay behind him.
Yeah, and then he was just whinging because Kvyat was doing the same thing.
Yeah, and good on him. A bit of his own medicine, and it was good to watch.
It was.
I know Red Bull probably weren't overly happy with it. They've come out and backed Danny Bot afterwards. They agreed with
just
what he did, so it's fun.
Just the team, you still can't be like, wait, move out of the way. And even then, do you think Kvyat would have moved out of the way?
Well, Toro Rosso did kind of come out afterwards, and they have... It's odd. I don't know if you heard the radio message, but it was odd. It was kind of like, move out of the way. But
wasn't it when they say our races with Alonso?
That is the exact message I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it was kind of like...
Our races with Alonso. He's the car ahead of you.
It was kind of like Consante, but it sounded more like cover your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much, I think, the team just letting him know that maybe we shouldn't lose all this time defending to a car that's going to pass us regardless. So that was cool.
Talking about losing a lot of time.
Yes.
Rosberg's pit stop at the start. It's like 4.3 seconds.
Yeah, there was a slow. Was it right rear or
Yeah, it was that.
something? Yeah,
It's just interesting. Like,
and then when they
Mercedes-
dropped him, he kind of sat there stationary for a little bit.
yeah, I thought that was very odd.
I started
Mercedes,
getting
you gotta
really
think-
excited, and then I looked down at my computer screen when I had the live timing up.
Oh yeah, and
I'm
see
like-
it was like that far.
Yeah, no, that doesn't really change anything.
So you haven't seen any of the Notebook with Ted?
No, I've missed the whole Notebook. To be
He was
honest.
saying the reason why at the end of the race, right, when it all livened up and everyone came in for their third stop, and Rosberg stayed out. On the pit wall that the Mercedes have, they've got their own little program that tells you current position, and then position if pit, and it was 1, and like P1 as current position, and position if pit was P1, and it was P1, and then it went to P2, and then the call said stay out.
Wow. Yeah, it was gonna be close.
It was going to be close. It got to that point where it's like, nah, you're going to fall behind him. Track position's king on this track.
Yeah.
Stay out.
Yep. They did a great job. They made that call very late, and it was the right call. They would have lost the race.
Yeah.
Honestly, they would have lost
Well,
the
when
race.
they told Ricardo you're going to be on the back of him and like with 4 laps to go, I'm like, not at this rate.
Yeah, well, that first lap he did.
The first lap was like 3.4 seconds faster.
Yeah. And the second lap was the same. It was like 3 points.
But then it started dropping down to about the 2.2, 2.5.
Yep. That traffic really hurt him.
Yeah, he got held up a lot.
I don't know if he went offline to get around them and picked up some marbles because it took like a lap and a half after the traffic for him to get his pace back. Either that or Rosberg started to push again.
I think, Rosberg got his brakes. Like, they're like, we'll give you more brakes. We'll give you more when you need it.
Yep.
I think just, Rosberg managed to... Well, Rosberg did everything he needed to do. He did a really good race. Like, granted, he wasn't, didn't have to overtake anyone, but you get that when you qualify first.
Yeah, it was, he just drove unbelievable race. Toto was very pleased with it. He said it's the best race Nico Rosberg's ever driven since Toto's been at Mercedes.
This is first time he's won Singapore.
He's the first non-world champion to win at Singapore.
It's because he's going to win it this year.
I actually thought to myself last night, I'm like, ooh, that's a bit of an omen. Because Lewis Hamilton's won there.
Yep.
Vettel's won 4 times there.
Mm-hmm.
And Alonso's won there. No one else has won.
Really?
Yeah.
Singapore's been around for a while now.
2007?
2008.
Oh, damn it, I was wrong. Well, I was right, but I was wrong.
It's a good track.
It is.
I like Singapore.
Yeah. It's the only track that I've gone and watched the F1, and it's amazing. It honestly hurt sitting there watching it on TV. My wife and I are both sitting there going, we want to go back next year now.
Can't go there, you got a child.
No, we can take a child. There was children there.
You have to pay for a full ticket.
No, you don't. Only if he's over. I can't remember. Jess looked it all up, but yeah, it's
You still
he
got
might get
1 year.
babysitted anyway. Might have to bring Jess's mum in on that one. But yeah, no, it's we're definitely keen to go back to it. It's amazing weekend, amazing event. It's one of the best
Really
weekends
nice
of my
and
life.
close for us too.
It is. It's not too far away. I think 4 hours. I think
Yeah,
it's on the
3.5, 4 hours by plane.
plane. Yeah,
It's quicker.
so it's not too bad from Darwin.
Easy to go that than Melbourne.
Yeah, well, I think the price wasn't any cheaper to go to Singapore. It's not the cheapest city in the world to get accommodation in
No, it's not.
or eat, or
Eating's not too bad.
depends where you go.
I just ate at food courts. It was
Food
great.
courts is fine. Food
I love
courts are
food
cheaper
courts
than
in Singapore.
Australia. Yeah, they're like $2 for a nice meal.
Where I went in March, they shut down a whole street. You just sit on the middle of the street in the CBD and just eat. It was fantastic.
It's the best food in the world, honestly.
Alcohol's expensive.
Alcohol is very expensive. When I was at the Grand Prix, we brought, 2 beers and 2 vodkas and a very, very small cup of chips.
And that cost
Very small.
$1,400.
Yeah, and that was, I think it was nearly $70, $68 or something.
Better be a refilling beer.
No, unfortunately not. It was quite funny, actually. The start of the weekend, I think the beers were $18 each for a schooner. And
From what I do know about Singapore's a bit like, Australia with smokes. We just charge heaps for them because if you want to smoke, you just pay it.
Yeah.
They do that with alcohol over there.
Yeah, definitely. The tax on it's huge. But it was quite funny. We met a really nice Canadian fella that was actually sitting next to us. His name was Otto. He ended up going down to the bar in the middle of the race because I was just... once that race started,
I'm not leaving.
I went and brought 2 beers before the race, and I'm like, this is me set. I'm done. I don't care if I need to pee, whatever it is. I'm staying here. I'm holding on. I'm watching this whole race. Anyway, it was...
Because Singapore, it's a nice quick race too.
Oh, it is. It's not like nearly 2 hours long or anything. But anyway, he's a really nice fella, and he went down to the bar, and he brought me a drink like halfway through the race. He went down to the bar and got me a drink. He's like, hey, they dropped the drink prices. It's only $12 a beer now. I'm like, wow, that's a bargain.
I know, $12.
And then he's
Is
like...
it mid-street?
That was Heineken, sorry.
Ooh,
So
full
that was a full-strength beer. Then it was nearly the end of the race. I think he went down when there was about maybe 20 minutes to go. And he went and brought me another beer. He's a good bloke, this bloke. Anyway, he went down, he brought me another beer, and he come back up and he's like, they're $8 now. Like, wow, how does that work? $10 off. It was a very quick discounting system in Singapore. Apparently, they didn't want to take any beer home.
No, just get rid of it, sell it.
So, but it was a very enjoyable weekend. It is warm, even being from Darwin. Especially we got grandstand seats on the front straight.
You're in the middle of the city.
The middle of the city.
No breeze.
And
you're in the
grandstand seats. Yeah, where we were seated actually backs onto sort of the harbour, really. Yeah. So if you go behind the grandstand, plenty of breeze. Nice, lovely. There's grass. You can sit there and look at the water, and it's all lovely. But as soon as you get on the track side of the grandstand, because these grandstands are like, I don't know, 25 seats high, if not more, they're pretty good wind blocker. And
I imagine that.
When you sit about, 100 seats down the grandstand, there's about 500 seats to your left. Not much wind gets to you, and you're very close to everyone else. The seats are very close together, so that's one bad part about it. But other than that, it was pretty good. Other than the sweaty pits.
So recommend it?
If you get the chance, go to it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We've talked for a long time. So we're probably going to have to look at wrapping this up.
Well, I've got more.
Nah, we don't.
Wait, there's more. Perez is Jack.
Oh, yeah, I did. I seen that.
That was pretty crazy, wasn't it?
That was lucky not to hit someone.
It was crazy it didn't tear his front wing apart or anything as it came off.
Yeah, you could puncture the wheel. Well, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know you got the puncture till you're out of the front of the pit.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty big. The Hamilton undercut of Raikkonen. Not much to talk about that.
Yeah, there's not too much to take away from it. Like, I think Ferrari just pitted too late, or they weren't committed enough on the call.
Yep.
It's disappointing for Raikkonen because he really should have been able to hold that position. Yeah,
I was really looking forward to Raikkonen having a solid ending there, and it's a bit of a shame. Arriva Bene has come out and said that he takes responsibility for that. He was the one that made the call for the pit, and it was a bit of probably not the best one.
Sebastian Vettel did a really good job.
Wow, driver of the weekend. We were just discussing this before, but absolute stellar drive, wasn't it? Where did he come from? Dead last?
Dead last. Didn't make up any positions on the start because of the crash.
Yep.
And then was last behind the safety car.
Yeah.
So where you would normally expect Vettel to make up positions on the start, you can't do it. He had to pass everyone.
Yeah, he just drove a great race. He passed everywhere he could, and then
he stayed out of trouble.
Just pit stops and stuff like that to undercut a few people, but he just did a great job from last to fifth. That's a really good effort.
More than you can ask for.
Championship.
Yes.
Another big move. V8 and the F1. Big weekend for championship. Nico comes out with the lead now.
He's got it back. Now the big question is, can he hold it?
Well, I'm not sure. What's Malaysia been like for those two? I can't remember.
Ferrari won last year.
Very interesting.
Did they? Yeah.
Ferrari won Singapore last year. We should just state facts and act like they're facts.
I
And then
right?
see if
Should just
anyone's
be
listening.
committed.
Manor won last year.
Yep.
Yep. Write in if you got a problem with that.
Manor 1, followed closely by Caterham F1. And then Braun GP come in third. Right, that's the
And
results.
Vodafone McLaren come in a nice fourth.
Minardi was in fifth.
Jaguar were doing great as well.
And Sauber BMW came in last. That's
But
the
Honda are
results.
back in the field. They're doing great.
Toyota was in there.
Jesus, we listed off some pretty iconic teams there.
I know. Only if they'd all got back in the sport.
Yeah, it would be good. Looking forward to Malaysia. It would be good to see how they go. I'm not sure who's going to go in there with more strength. Nico's obviously on a good footing
run.
now.
He's got some
3
confidence.
wins in a row. He's just smashed the points back in. I think there was, 20-something points before.
19 points, and now he leads by 8.
Yeah, yep. So Hamilton's done well in the last couple of races to claw some points back.
He has, but he needs... Like, if he's going to really fight now, he's going to have to start beating him.
Yeah. And Nico looked solid. Probably the most solid I've seen him look for a long time. He didn't win that race just because Hamilton had problems. I think Hamilton, even if Hamilton had a good race, I don't know if he would have beat him.
Caught him, no.
So that's really good.
Hamilton
it's good
got
to see.
trouble when he got stuck in dirty air.
It's the return of the Mercs can't race.
Yep.
Mercs can lead, but they can't race.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best leading car, but they cannot. They've got a horrible race car in dirty air.
Mm.
All right. Other than that, that's a pretty good recap over what happened over the weekend.
Covered a bit of everything.
Yeah, we did. We probably got a little bit sidetracked on a few things.
That's all right.
Here and there.
So, yeah, if you got an issue with Manor winning last year's Malaysian Grand Prix, just write in. Let us know.
That's funny.
But no, we are heading to Malaysia next.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. And then in 3 weeks, Bathurst.
Bathurst. The Holy Grail.
It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I love that pie.
It's all
We
you
should
look forward
probably
to.
explain this too. The listeners don't know. We have a tradition.
Yeah.
Every year we get together. We go to Michael's house.
Yep.
We
In
get
the
up
morning.
early,
Like
5
7 o'clock.
5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're up
Yeah.
and we go to the shops. We buy a whole bunch of stuff, pastry, meat,
Yeah,
and then we cook
organise
for-
everything the night before
Yep.
at the bakery.
and then we cook for a few hours in the morning. Watch the start of the race, and then we have pie for the afternoon lunch.
We generally do a nice warm breakfast.
We do bacon and eggs and a
Scrambled
few other
eggs,
things.
bacon, tomato, hard-boiled.
It's you honestly, you have to get in. The seats are very limited, but it's a great weekend.
It is good. And then there's a pie.
And we don't have an F1 race coinciding with it this year.
Oh, no.
Remember, we're always trashed
I know.
trying to watch
the problem.
F1.
The problem with a race of F1 race falling on the V8s, the Bathurst weekend.
We're normally very tired.
We've been drinking since 7. Something that goes along with breakfast is Bloody Marys.
Yeah, so it's I'll be looking forward to it. Hopefully Noah can come around and watch a little bit and get involved as well. So it'll be good. All right.
But anyway, thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah. Remember to hit us up at Facebook and send us your feedback and anything that you want us to involve, and whether you're liking our news column. If not,
Tell us.
Yeah, tell us. Give us.
Our email address is breakinglate@gmail.com.
Or what was the Twitter, Michael? At
At
Breaking Late
breakinglate_FM.
FM. Yep.
And our Facebook page is breakinglate.com/breakinglate. So, yeah, you can leave any feedback there. Do you want to tell us anything? And I think we're done.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Catch you guys later. Bye.